I, female 28, have been friends with Brittany, female 28, since we were about 5 or 6, and we're very close to this day. As part of having a friendship with me, she was around my brother, Mark 30, quite a lot as children, and their romance blossomed as teenagers. They married 5 years ago. Unfortunately, my brother passed in a tragic accident 2 years ago and left a mountain of debt for Brittany. She was 8 months pregnant then and ended up moving in with my parents. She and her daughter, Lilac, toddler, live with my parents to this day, and the family alternate watching Lilac so Brittany can get her degree. Everyone has really rallied around Brittany in such a trying time. For Christmas, my husband, 30, bought an all-inclusive trip for him and me to explore Paris and have a romantic getaway. I've always had France on my wish list, and I'm so grateful to him for such a wonderful gift. We leave in February for 2 weeks, which is a dream come true. I told my parents about the gift, and they then told Brittany, who called me in a flood of tears, asking that I take her instead of my husband. She said that she would never be able to experience a romantic getaway like that with her own husband, and that we, my husband and I, could just go again at another time. She said she gave up everything to raise Lilac, and she would love for us to have a girls' trip like we did when we were younger. I told Brittany that that was not possible. This was a gift from my husband to me, and I fully expected to have a romantic getaway with him. Brittany told me that I was punishing her for being a widow, and that it was unfair that I would have a love affair in Paris while she cried at my brother's grave. My husband thinks she's trying to make me feel guilty, but said he'd step out of the trip if I wanted to take Brittany. The thing is that I want to go with my husband, but my parents have since called to tell me that they would watch Lilac and that I shouldn't rub my happy marriage in Brittany's face. My mom told me I would be selfish to leave a grieving widow over Valentine's Day. Am I being an idiot? Not the idiot. What did I just read? The entitlement is unreal. That's such an unreasonable request. Frankly, if that's how she feels, she should be going to therapy. You're not throwing your marriage in her face. You're celebrating your marriage between you and your husband. If your parents are so concerned about her Valentine's Day experience, they should pay for her trip themselves instead of trying to steal someone else's. Moreover, your parents are the ones who told Brittany about the trip, not you. So how can they say you're rubbing it in her face? Take a weekend with her to the spa if you want to, but do not compromise about your Christmas gift. And to be honest, the fact she said you're punishing her for being a widow by going to Paris with your husband makes me think she's highly manipulative, and or she needs therapy rather than a trip. You and your parents could pay for therapy if you could afford it. Seems more like she's trying to punish OP for being happily married. OP, did you vow to forsake all others when you married your husband? You don't just get to prioritize your relationship with your spouse. You're supposed to. You will be a big idiot if you kick out your husband, who paid for the trip, for her. And she's an idiot for even asking this. And your parents made this drama. OMG, what is wrong with the people around you? Paris is a transatlantic trip, not a quick weekend city break by train or budget airline. Tell your parents to take her and Lilac on a trip if they feel sorry for her. Brittany has lost a partner, but you lost a brother. You need this time as much as she does, and I'm sure you could use a little happiness in your life as well. Go to Paris. Do not feel guilty. Enjoy the heck out of yourselves. The rest of them will get over it. If not, they're not very good friends and family. I'm sorry, but to quote Reba, the world doesn't stop for her broken heart. We hosted Christmas on Sunday, and my husband's family is still fighting over this. Mother-in-law is a lot. She does whatever she wants. Rules are for other people, not her, and she has never liked me. We just moved into a house with a lake behind it, and mother-in-law found a pair of ice skates at our house. I told her not to go on the ice, but her husband and my dad both told her that I didn't know what I was talking about and she'd be fine. Well, surprise, surprise, she fell through the ice. Thankfully, she wasn't deep at all and could easily get out. Her clothes were soaked and unwearable, so everyone just assumed I'd give her something, which was annoying to be honest. She's never been very nice to me, and my husband has clothes she can wear. I didn't want to give her anything expensive or anything I was attached to. I also didn't want to give her anything at all form-fitting because she's smaller than me and would love to gloat about how they were too big. I offered up a pair of footy pajamas with a bunny tail, warm, meant to be baggy, and I only bought them for Halloween and wouldn't be upset if she lost or ruined them. Mother-in-law refused and demanded I let her go through my drawer. I told her it was the pajamas, or she could put her wet clothes back on. At this point, she still refused, and a few other family members began berating me and saying I was being extremely cruel. I'm possessive of my clothes, and it was such a personal thing to me. Finally, mother-in-law said she'd go home in wet clothes, which was ridiculous. It was freezing out, and she weighs maybe 110 pounds and struggles to stay warm anyway. Her husband ended up having a pair of sweats in his car, and her sister gave her a bathrobe she had gotten for Christmas. Mother-in-law refused to speak to my husband or me for the rest of the night, and multiple people called me an evil witch. Mother-in-law's mom and sister won't even talk to me. My husband says I was really cruel, and he gets that she isn't easy to deal with, but he's ashamed of how I behaved. Not the idiot. She demanded to search your drawers? I mean, they are your clothes. I wouldn't let anyone go through my clothes, the same size as me or not. That's mine. You warned her and she messed around and found out. If she had kept her butt off the ice like you told her, this would have never happened. OP also told them no, on her property. Like, ma'am, be lucky you weren't left in the wet clothes. Take the fuzzy bunny suit and deal with it. As my 5-year-old says, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. I have no idea where she learned it. I have not, nor has my husband ever said it. It's a typical case of beggars can't be choosers. Despite everything else, OP offered clothes, but mother-in-law refused. So, yeah, everyone's the idiot here. Yes, your mother-in-law is clearly an idiot in various ways, but was there really nothing else you could have offered her to wear? The optics of offering her a bunny suit and nothing else is pretty bad. I can understand limiting her choices, but I can also understand how your offer looked like a blatant attempt to humiliate her. So why didn't you offer one of your husband's clothes? When that was brought up, she first yelled about not wanting men's clothes. Her mom raised her and her sister to know that their only worth is being beautiful and marrying wealthy men. Her mom is also a former model who hates that her mother-in-law is prettier than her and loves that her mother-in-law is way too short to model. So no way she was putting on bunny pajamas in front of her mom and sister. Oh, so you were doing it to intentionally embarrass her. Got it. You are the idiot for offering her an embarrassing bunny rabbit Halloween costume or nothing. Come on, you were trying to embarrass her, and you get 10 bonus idiot points for acting like you weren't. Yes, it sucks that she isn't nice to you, but she's in need and it's a temporary situation. You couldn't spare some track pants and a sweatshirt? She had to wear her husband's pants and a bathrobe? Seriously? You suck the most. My 2 friends and I, all 38 female, always meet for birthdays every year. We exchange presents and do a group activity plus a meal. The birthday girl gets treated to everything. My birthday is at the end of this month. I sent a group text to my friends about the restaurant I wanted to go to and asked if a specific date worked for everyone. Sarah said she won't be there, so I asked, what about another weekend? And apparently she's going to be away for a few months. She said to just celebrate without her. I felt pretty offended that she would choose to vacation during my birthday. I feel like it's a slight. Plus, Sarah has been acting weird and talking to me less for months now. So I texted her and asked if everything was okay. I'm straightforward, so I told her directly, I feel like you've been avoiding me. Why else would you purposefully go away for my birthday? Sarah immediately got defensive and annoyed. She said I'm a hypocrite because I went away for her birthday weekend last year, and you didn't hear her complain. Plus, I'm always a diva when it comes to our other friend's birthday, and overall she needs a break from our friendship because she just doesn't think I've been a good friend. So I'm not talking to her now. She has a lot of animosity toward me for no reason. Am I the idiot for getting upset she's ditching me on my birthday? You are the idiot. You're 38. The world doesn't revolve around you, and not every tradition is a good one. It may have worked for the time, but if it's no longer needed, Evaluate it and recalibrate. We no longer put leeches on people, right? Life is more complex when you're older with more responsibilities. It doesn't work like you did when we were all 20s and we could do whatever we wanted. You ghosted her birthday, but are offended she's doing the same. Also, she's not skipping out on your birthday. She's going to be gone for months. You confronted her, and she told you exactly what was up. She thinks you're a hypocrite, a diva, and a bad friend, and is taking a break from you. If these opinions of hers are based on reality, you are the idiot times 3. If you want to keep your friend group, it's time for some self-examination and personal growth. I'm wondering what OP thought Sarah would do. Oh no, this months-long trip that I'm going on conflicts with my friend's birthday. Guess I'd better not go on the trip after all. Is OP 38 or 18? And concerned about the birthday party? I'm shocked at her age. People have lives that don't revolve around you, and your birthday comes every year. It's not that big of a deal. OP has main character syndrome. Purposely go away for my birthday, like her schedule should entirely revolve around one day of the year that actually has nothing to do with her. Translation: since I'm the only person that really matters, I can't imagine anyone making a decision in which I'm not their primary concern. Therefore, if the decision negatively impacts me, it must be an intentional slight. Wow, grow up. My stepdaughter is a tween. I've been in her life for 8 years, and we have full custody. She sees her mom once every other week. I also have 2 sons, aged older tween and a younger tween. For the past 6 months, my stepdaughter will stand directly behind me whenever I'm cooking anything. She doesn't want to help me cook. I've asked, and she said no because she fears getting burnt. She just stands directly behind or beside me, close enough that we're touching whenever I'm cooking. And it's incredibly frustrating. Our kitchen is small as it is, so I have no room to move. I started telling her to stay out of the kitchen when I'm cooking because I need space, and I'm becoming frustrated from either dropping things constantly because I'm tripping over her or constantly asking her to move out of the way. Ever since I started telling her to stay out of the kitchen when I'm cooking, she's been making excuses to be in there, like getting a drink every 5 minutes, or wanting to color at the counter versus having her huge desk in her bedroom, or even using the office desk in the living room. If she wanted to learn to cook and help me, that would be one thing. I would be more than willing to teach her, but as I said, she's refused and doesn't want to help me. She insists on standing on my heels and watching what I'm doing. I can't even express how many times I've almost burnt her and have burnt myself because of this. So yesterday she came in and I told her not to, and I didn't hear her come in. She was standing right behind me. I went to turn to strain noodles and bumped into her and got boiling water all down my front and all over the floor. I did yell and told her to get out now. She ran to her room crying. My husband started berating me for hurting her feelings, simply because she's curious. I explained to him the same stuff I have millions of times before. She's not to be in the kitchen anymore when I'm cooking because I'm exhausted from constantly tripping over her when she has zero intentions to help or learn. I've explained that because of her, I just burnt myself, and he just completely ignored it and said I was the one in the wrong because of her feelings. Am I the idiot? And yes, I've spoken to her several times after I've been burnt. She just says sorry and continues to do it. Not the idiot. That water could have ended up over her, and I bet your husband would have blamed you for that. She's old enough to understand she could get hurt, as proven you can. Let him do the cooking and see how he reacts when she does it to him. That's extremely dangerous and, frankly, very irresponsible of your husband. There need to be consequences. Sit her down and tell her that it's not safe to sneak up on anyone cooking. This is now a safety rule. Safety rules are the most important rules, something we say at my house a lot. And if she breaks that rule, she'll have to face X consequences. Lost screen time, computer privileges, whatever she gets for breaking other major rules. If she needs to go into the kitchen, she must announce herself, then immediately get what she needs and leave. Disagree. This is not normal behavior. It could even be a trauma response and needing to be ridiculously close to you to feel safe. I had a similar situation with a child I didn't birth, and if I had a nickel for every time I stepped on her because she was on my heels, I'd have $1 million. Frustrating and unsafe in the kitchen, but it seems to me like she's afraid, and being close to you makes it better. Is there a seat not in the way that can be hers while you cook? And as the thread loves, therapy for everyone. Really though, it might be good to know why she's so afraid, and good job for being her safe space. My wife became obsessed with saving money and budgeting ever since inflation increased. Every Sunday she sits down, calculates how much we can spend the next week, and puts only that amount into our shared account. She has been uncomfortably open about this with our friends. For example, if they ask us to go to a bar together, she'll say our budget won't let us, so let's drink at home. Whenever they invite us to do something that costs money, she offers a cheaper alternative, saying we're trying to save money. My wife is responsible for our family finances, and she's generally really good at setting up goals and reaching them. But it has now gotten to the point where my friend drew me aside and asked me if we needed help and offered to pay for the next outing. Afterward, I told my wife about it and told her that she should stop acting like we're broke because it makes me feel uncomfortable. She said that she always asks for my approval for our weekly budget and that it's not right that I'm now blaming her for a small misunderstanding with my friend. Meanwhile, I agreed to everything. She then called me shallow for worrying about appearances. Am I really the one in the wrong here? She's projecting this image that we're broke everywhere. Meanwhile, we save about 50% of our income every month. Am I the idiot? Your wife is correct. You reviewed the family budget and agreed to it, and now you complain as if she made the budget decisions all by herself. You want the benefit of your wife's hard work without doing even the bare minimum of paying attention and offering your input when you're asked. Instead, you blame her after the fact, just because your friend's question embarrassed you. Yeah, you are the idiot. I can't believe people are actually on his side. He's definitely the a-hole here. They've got loans and goals to expand their family. She's not telling people they're broke. She's saying they're on a budget because they are. He can just tell his friends the truth about their financial goals. Nowhere in his post does he say that he disagrees with the budget. He's just afraid of looking bad. He's either very sensitive or he has shallow friends. OP is just a lazy bum who can't be bothered to manage his own household finances. Then he finds a way to criticize his wife's work after already approving it. OP needs to learn to be an adult and take responsibility. Don't dump it all on your wife. Disagree, not the idiot. You're saving 50%, but you're not enjoying your life. What's the point? A good budget should include some allowance for socializing. It sounds like she has become obsessive about budgeting. Her responses to your friends make it sound like you're experiencing financial difficulties, and there are better ways to handle it, especially if she's countering every invite from your friends with a cheap stay-at-home alternative. When people are offering to pay for you because she tells everyone you're broke when you're not, she manipulates their kindness.